All right. Shalom, shalom, and shalom. Sister Deborah coming with a message here. And this message is it's going to cover quite a bit, but I'm gonna try to go straight through without staying on verse after verse after verse. I'm gonna work very hard not doing that. And this message is really going to surround where are they in a sense? Where are they? And I want you to even ask yourself uh, the question, where are they? And they are the one that are called to come into a unity, because even you yourself sometimes feel that you in this alone at your workplace, at your place of in your household, among your friends, among your community, even the place in which you worship. You feel so alone and you wonder, where are they? And I, Sister Deborah, was sitting here and I decided to bring something into a oneness. I see in Ephesians chapter 4, let's go there. In Ephesians chapter 4, the main thing Ephesians in chapter 4 is talking about is a oneness. And as we are in this day, in that day, I notice you cannot grip that oneness in our natural eyesight. Okay. Somewhere you cannot see it. At least I can't see it. I don't know about you, but this is going to give you something to think about. So when I was sitting here into Ephesians chapter 1, not chapter 1, Ephesians chapter 4. And I'm going to start with verse 1. Listen to this. And this is, I believe, Paul. And it's the title of what is being said. I might even change it, but it's keep the unity of the Spirit. Keep the unity of the Spirit. Who are they talking about? Or who are they talking to? You see, it's just like my title. Where are they? If you're saying keep the unity of the Spirit, where are they? Is it meant that you don't know them by spirit, but you know them by, no, you know them, you don't know them by spirit, just knowing that they exist, and you don't know them by flesh. So how will and how can and how could you keep the unity of the Spirit? How can we keep the unity of the Spirit? Let's go to Ephesians chapter 4 and just kind of hear what Paul is talking about here. And it says in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1, I therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, I just say that for right now, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocational wherewith ye are called. Now Paul is talking about these individuals that are called, that you need to walk in your calling, in that purpose. Who called that order? Who called that purpose? Heaven. Heaven. And he's saying we are to walk therein. Listen to what he says in verse 1. I, therefore, he calling himself a prisoner of Yah, beseech you. Now he said he's a prisoner to it. But he said, I beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called. I would ask Paul, who called him? Called him to that purpose. Okay? And he said he's a prisoner to it. He knows that he's been called, but he's a prisoner. You know what a prisoner is? That's an individual who can't get out of what he in. He's in the four walls. He there. And it's not because he chose to be there. He's in the prison. And he said he's using it like he is a prisoner. He's trying to get us to see that he's locked in to those four walls of this unity that I'm telling y'all about. Watch this. Verse 2. With all lowlessness. Now that lowlessness mean humble. With all lowlessness and meekness and long suffering. See, Paul is telling you about the long suffering Sister Deborah tell y'all about all the time. I know it's real. Because Paul is the way he even went out. So Sister Deborah, facts knows that long suffering wasn't just for me. It was for those that were called. Okay, so here it is in verse 2. We in Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 2. With all lowlessness, meekness, long suffering, forbearing one another in give and gave. One another. What is this Sister Deborah keeps saying? It feels like she's just there herself. That's not a feeling I'm just saying. That's facts of what I'm actually experiencing. And then I tell you what, there's many out there because the Spirit already told me. They're even trying to find their way. And their way right is in them. But it's hard to accept the way that is in them because they think they have to include everybody else on the outside of them. They think that they have to line up with everything everybody else is saying, what everybody else is doing. And it makes them feel that they could be the wrong one. And it caused them to doubt what is invested in them because they're not looking like what's on the outside of them. They're not thinking like people think on the outside of them. They're not feeling like people on the outside of them. So these are the ones that the Father said is coming. Okay. Now, here in verse 2, Paul is telling you what this walk is like. It's consistent of a lowlessness, which is humbleness, meekness, long suffering, forbearing one another in give and gave. You see that? One another. So when I began this topic, I wanted to also add on keeping the unity of the Spirit. This is what Ephesians chapter 4 is going to pan out to be. Keeping the unity of the Spirit. I want to show y'all how deep this thing really goes. Okay. Endeavoring. Is that what? Yeah. Endeavoring. Verse 3. Endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. In the bond of peace. See, people don't understand the verses I'm going to clam on top of, which I have in time past many of times, about I come not to bring peace. See, people didn't know that he didn't say I was coming between your household. He didn't say I was coming to your workplace. I was coming into your place of worship. I wasn't coming among your friends. He told the men, I'm coming in your household. Because the household have made right, wrong, right, light, dark, light, sweet, bitter, sweet. And they made it so still to where they think that that's the awesome relationship on the face of the earth. And the Father is telling us over and over and over, I come to bring the sword. I come to bring you peace. He's telling us even in our own family. He didn't say our workplace, y'all. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. He didn't say our communities. He didn't say our neighborhoods. He said in our household. With grandma, granddad, mama, daddy, sister, brother, children. I come to bring the peace of the sword in that immediate family. And Paul said, wait a minute, Deborah, keep the unity of the spirit. Oh yeah, saying the same thing. But watch how Paul is saying it. He's saying it to those that are what? Called to walk in this unity of the spirit. In Matthew, Luke, John, and Mark, in Malachi, and many other verses I'm going to bring forth, it's saying that he come to bring division. I am against. I come to bring the sword. I didn't come to bring peace in your household. Meaning under your roof, under your roof, I ain't come to bring you no peace. Because we are making unity among those who don't bring unity in the spirit. Now, this is a topic people will turn from and never return. Praise the mighty Yah. Because Yah said he's come to divide it all. And that's why it's so uncomfortable in this day and time for me. I can feel the long suffering and the endurance because of truth. The truth of the matter, he has spoken it, he has said it, and by everything being switched from right, from wrong, wrong, and right, back with our forefathers, everything has been switched so bad that we can't even see that we're supposed to keep the unity of the spirit. So when he comes into a household and he shows you that I bring the sword is to divide. The sword is not coming to bring peace. It's coming to divide. 3 on this side, 2 on this side, 2 on this side, 3 on this side. If it's 8, it can be 2 on this side and 6 on this side. He comes to separate those who are walking in the spirit from those who are walking in the flesh. And this is a meal individual will never be able to digest. So Sister Deborah, I'm hearing you, Paul. But Paul, it ain't happening in this day. I can't see it, Paul. Now listen to what he says in Ephesians chapter 3. In Ephesians chapter 4, verse 3, endeavoring to keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace. A unity of the spirit of Yah in the bond of peace. You see, verse 4, there is one body, so keep the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace. One body, one spirit. This is verse 4. There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. It ain't no such thing as Sister Deborah and Sister Deborah only. You see? And this is what he's saying here in verse 4. He's saying there is one body, one spirit, even as ye are called in one hope of your calling. We all fall under that oneness, you guys. You know how Sister Deborah said, I'm just speaking to that one. That's what I'm talking about. The unity of those who born to follow the Spirit. Okay. And then he says in verse 5, oh, yeah. No, he doesn't say, oh. In verse 5, one Lord, one faith, one baptism. Verse 6, one Yah, one the Father of all, who is above all, and through all, and in you all. Verse 7, but unto every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of measure of the gift of Christ. You don't see Yeshua, do you? Listen to what it says. But until every one of us is given grace according to the measure of the gift of his power, which is Christ. Okay? Now, here he says in verse 1, I therefore, the prisoner of Yah, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherewith ye are called, with all lowliness, humbleness, and meekness, with long suffering, bearing one another. That right there letting you know he's speaking to a oneness, those that's in a unity. And what unity are they in? The spiritual unity of Yah. You know, he said there, he that's born of the flesh, mind the things of the flesh. But he that is born of the spirit, it's not your spirit, it's his capital spirit. He that is born of the spirit minds the things of the spirit. So you got two people on this earth, one going toward their flesh way and living by it. Do they have a spirit? Yes. Their spirit is giving the flesh the okay to live and rule by the flesh. But you got a spirit over here that follows the spirit of Yah. They're born to come here to follow the spirit of Yah. Once Yah has activated them into their position, their purpose, their calling. Okay. So as Paul is talking here, I'm hearing this oneness, this oneness, this oneness, this oneness. And that's a lot of times you all don't hear me because that's all I'm saying. I'm trying to hear from or to connect to the oneness so it don't appear or it don't feel or I don't have to think or behold that, hey, you the one, you the only one. Where are they? You see? And if I do that, that could be out of my own self. But I'm looking for individuals. I'm not looking and I'm not like I'm hoping. I'm listening to the Ruach give me the things to teach and hoping that what I'm actually teaching, it would draw the one. You get what I'm saying? Into the oneness. You see? And that's all Paul is letting us know. Keeping the unity of the spirit into a oneness. Because he's one Father. Okay, he's one Yah. He's one faith, one baptism. He's one body. You see, he's one spirit, and he's called to one hope. So when I get into these other verses, that brings us right back into who is this that he's coming to bring peace. He's not coming to bring peace because he knows the Father already know the main place that needs to be tapped in is family. He knows that's the main place that needs to be tapped in because men and women, they would put all of who they are and invest all of who they are into their household with them and wife, husband, and children. Likewise, if there's not a father in the house, A woman would put all her energy into household where her children and her. Everything is her focus is the children and her. Nothing comes in between. I realized that he didn't come to a place of worship to bring to not bring peace. He didn't come to your friends to not bring peace. He didn't come to your workplace to not bring peace, but he came into the household to not bring peace. Because in the household, he knows every man's womb has the seeds. And they either the seeds that walk in the flesh or they the seeds that walk in the spirit. And I can understand why Yeshua was teaching it under the guideline of trying to show you that it has to be a division. Because if it's not a division, then the light is going to find pleasure in darkness. And the darkness going to find pleasure in the light. That's switching it, just like I was explaining it to you. Right being wrong and wrong being right. Bitter being sweet and sweet being bitter. Good being evil and evil being good. But he said, I'm come to bring division, and I'm heading to the household to bring that division. That's some powerful stuff. That is some really powerful stuff, because he's not playing. And when I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you all about it, and it do affect me, it doesn't affect me as much as I know it affects a lot of people, because I know where the balance, I know where he done drew the line. I know what side of the line I'm on, and another side of the line everybody else is on. I do have a problem though. My problem is I haven't been able to really, really fully embrace that. Okay, Deborah, respect the boundaries. Respect the boundaries that there's actually been created two sides in your household. It ain't gonna be no one side. That's a hard pill to swallow, being a prophetess in the wilderness. Because I have to divide my side and see it like that, not change it. Teach you one thing, but then change mine to another. I have to omit and accept that there is a there is a line drawn to separate. Not everybody else's household only, but mine's as well. You see, but what I do, I try to do everything and be everything to everybody and be there for everybody, help everybody. And guess what? You find yourself doing exactly what he has come to change, to bring the division, and to bring the division in the way, that allow me to still speak spirit and truth in the light, and still uphold that all these things is still not Deborah's way. It is the Father's way. And Deborah, it's okay. Run into your lane. Because here I'm just listening to Paul telling me that he's a prisoner to this way alone. And this is the way of the Spirit. And he said there should be unity there. Because everything is a oneness here. And we should, and he said here, let me show you one where he's actually talking not to an individual. He's talking to us as a whole, that when he bring the division, if there's 3 on this side walking in the spirit and 2 on this side walking in the flesh, when us in the spirit supposed to be caught up in the same thing Paul is saying here in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1 through 7. That's what that's our place of comfort. But what we are doing, we're settling for the way of those who are walking in the flesh. We thinking we supposed to mingle and settle with that way. Paul is even letting you know. Wait a minute, let me see where he's telling him. There is one body and one spirit, even as ye are called into one hope of your calling. Okay, he talks about us. In here, he talks about right here, verse 2. And all we supposed to be in all lowlessness, meaning humbleness, meekness, long suffering, forbearing one another. You see? So he's actually showing you how we supposed to be this oneness as a unity, walking in Yah's spirit. And these things I see not. And these things that I still have not fully gripped. And I don't think it's because I have not fully gripped it. I think the Father has already given it to me in the fullness. But because I'm not beholding it, I'm not actually seeing it, I've just assumed it's not there. But it's there because it's been prophesied, it's been spoken, it's been finished, it's over. You see? So Paul is telling us how that oneness, and that oneness is the ones that he has brought to division, to separate and divide the spiritual seed from the fleshly seed, or the serpent seed. It's the same thing. He's actually telling you what side he's focused. He's not focusing on those who walk after the spirit, those who are the spirit, the serpent seed. He's focusing on those who walking after Yah's spirit, telling us we're supposed to be in some sort of oneness. And that's why I say, in this day, Father, I'm your prophet. I see not. I don't see it. Nowhere to be seen. And it's strange. And I'm trying. And that's why I'm telling y'all, that's where the confusion come in with me in a great deal. I'm looking in all the wrong places in hope that where can you find it? Can I find it under this book? Can I find it in this plant? Where is it? You don't know. You heard by the study guide, you know that the spirit in you is teaching you it, but where is it on the outside where the eyes can see? Because this what Yeshua is saying is all about a unity of individual in a unity following after spirit. And I've spoken already in the last couple of weeks about that. You can't find them. Okay, so I want to get into this. Let me answer this call. One emergency call. Okay. Now, this is where I'm at now. Now, watch this here. When I go over here to my book here and I go into Malachi, When I go into my book in Malachi chapter 7, verse 6, this is all these verses you have heard before. I'm writing a book and I'm actually adding these verses in it. I'm not adding the verses, I'm going to break them down in my book, okay? But in Malachi chapter 7, verse 6, it says, "For the son dishonored the father, the daughter rise up against the mother, the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house." Now, this is because not only is it a division in the house, it's a generational curse that continue in homes throughout generation through generation through generation through generation. For what reason? This very reason is what I'm speaking on now. For this very reason, when you had priests, bishops, pastors, apostles, evangelists, ministers, teachers, pastors, I think I say a prophet, prophetess, Maureen, seers, and watchmen, they never taught what I'm teaching now. It never been taught, you guys. And this is why light is pulling out of darkness right now. This is a form of that light coming out of darkness. They never taught it. This here should have been taught in the place where you worship. This is showing you that the Christian didn't have the answer. The Catholics didn't have the answer. The Muhammad, Islam, Buddha, 7-day, Jehovah's Witness, they don't have the answers because they don't have truth. Truth has been turned into the lie. And that's what they focus on, the lie. Because right here in Malachi, it talks about, for the son dishonor the father. What is you talking about? And the daughter rise up against the mother. That's what you're seeing today. And it's at the highest. I would say it is at 100%. It is at, even though it might not be in mine, I'm not going to sit and act like I'm blind to what I'm seeing going on. It is actually happening. And it says, and the daughter rise up against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. And then it says, a man's enemies are the men of his own house. But if the father is out of the house, it leads the son against whoever in the house. You ought to live in a big lie. And nobody wants to bring truth out of it. This should have been taught in every place of worship. Let's go to another in the book of Luke, chapter 12, verse 51 through 53. So what? I said this before. I'm saying it again. You ain't the only one on this page, okay, who already have heard it. I got up to 40 new subscribers in the last 30 days. So it doesn't matter if you didn't heard this before, you're hearing it again, because what I'm connecting is Paul in Ephesians chapter 4. He's speaking of the ones that's born of the Spirit, telling us that we should be on a oneness. And we should continue in this. Okay? In unity. In the same way where the division is in the house, when he bringing the division, he only divided into two ways. He dividing those that are walking in the flesh and those that are walking in the spirit. Now, why isn't those that are walking in the spirit walking like unto what Paul was saying? Where are you? Sister Deborah is in this day. And I still say to the Father, where are they? In the unity of where we can see we're walking in the spirit. Because the spirit is capitalized. But where are we? Where's the unity? So when I get to Luke chapter 12, verse 51 through 53, suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth, on earth, on earth. I tell you, nay, but rather division. So the earth never was. coming. This is the Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach. He wasn't coming to bring peace, but division. Watch this here. 52. Luke chapter 12, verse 52. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house, divided 3 against 2, 2 against 3. When you wonder why is there a division, because he's even then starting from your household, wanting you to understand that you have the spiritual seed versus the flesh, the serpent seed. He's dividing their walk. One walk is walking after the spirit, and the other walk is walking after the flesh. But I, as a prophetess today, still seek the bosom of the Father. When where are those who's walking after the spirit? Where are they? In such a day like no other. So then it goes back to the narrow gate. They're not going to find the way. Now listen to this. And then in 52 it says, for henceforth there shall be 5 in one house. See, he's coming to the household. He's coming to the Father's seeds and the Father himself. He's coming under that roof, y'all. So this is where the greatest division is. This is where the greatest place where you're not going to have peace, y'all. He didn't say your workplace. He didn't say among your friends. He didn't say in your communities. He said your household. And so many people are trying to piece their household up in a way that it can look, it can appear, it can feel holy. It can be the light. And I, all these years, knew. I ain't telling you something I'm just finding out. I'm telling you what I always knew, that he had 2 different entities down here in the house. Because the battle is real. It always been real. It's what you're willing to accept the reality, or you want to live the lie. And many of us, even Sister Deborah, will live the lie than to live the truth that there has been a division in your household, whether you like it or not. Knowing that there were. But it didn't matter. I wanted to master where everyone was at and meet them where they at. And I got caught up, even to this very day, still meeting the need of the division on both sides where they're at. My son in Texas, I got 5 years of taxes I need you to do. I lost the W-2s. Okay, so what? You know, I can pull them up. You see, just always feeling that I can meet the expectations of no matter what somebody under my roof is in. My immediate family. And I should not be doing that. We are in that day. They're getting ready to show up and show out, and they already started. Why? Because you upheld it as if there was no division, even though you knew it was. But no one on the outside knew I had the division in my household. No one never knew that I knew the division. I seen the division. I understood the division. Why? Because Sister Deborah cleared it up, covered it up. But the division was always there. And my issue today is I'm letting go. I'm speaking on it, and I'm trying to get the help. Not trying. God's giving me the help to let it go. Stop trying to cover up a division that I said that I come to bring division, and you trying to make it all look as good as then, because every family member on the outside, oh, that's the best family going on. They do everything. They can do anything. You see? And they didn't understand the grace and mercy that was on my side. of the Spirit of Yah all the time. To where the one that's divided still today deny the Spirit that I follow. But yet, I covered them up. It's a new day, y'all. And the sun is bright. So here in Luke chapter 12, verse 51 and 53, the father shall be divided. The father shall be divided against the son. See? And the son against the father. We in Luke chapter 12, verse 53. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. He just showing you how the household is messed up. He said that's the only place outside of the place of worship that everybody start off portraying it's all holy, it's all upright, it's all just, it's all righteous. This should have been preached every month in the place of worship where you had your bishop, your priest, your pastors, your apostles, your Maureen, your seer. They should have been preaching and teaching this on YouTube long time ago when they first got their tails on here. This should have been taught, y'all. So don't look at me all cockeyed and say, oh, I remember you talking about this. I'm still going to talk about it again because Paul brought something to me that made me feel so good about how the trouble that you would have, it'll appear that it's you because no one has never saluted or looked to the one that divided. You didn't divide it. He did. And the way he divided and have himself as the spirit that Paul is saying we should be following as a unity. He's a unit, and we should be following him in unity. And I, as a prophet in the wilderness today, I can say that's a sight to see. It'll be a good sight to see, but it is not in this day. So what Paul was talking about, maybe it was in Paul time, but I'm the prophet of this day, and let me tell you that what Paul is saying should be have not been seen. Has not been seen. But it don't mean that ain't how Yah has ordered it to be. Because I know that he did. You know why? Because Yeshua is talking about the division. The division only to split up those who are walking in the flesh from those who are walking in the spirit. Where? In your household, where you all want to put each other lovey-dovey, we together, we are one, we are this. This does not mean that you go into your household and you start to divide it. That he didn't give you the authority to bring a sword to divide your household. That's not what he's saying. But he wants you to recognize that if you're walking in the spirit, you are the light in the household. And then Paul went on and letting you know we're supposed to be meekness, humbleness. We're supposed to be in a oneness, following behind the what? The spirit of a one God. He said a one Yah, a one Father, a one baptism. He just called everything in a oneness. But in this day, everybody following their own way that pleases their flesh. It leads this prophet to understand there's more division on the broad gate side, on the side walking after flesh, than there could ever be in those who are walking, following the spirit of Yah. Okay? So when I get to 2 Timothy, in the book of 2 Timothy, I don't have to go there because it's the same thing. It's still the division. This one, 2 Timothy, is a division over where those who are born of the flesh, those who are walking in the flesh, those who are the seed of the serpent, And in 2 Timothy 3:2, that's what it speaks of. But it's still coming from the level of the house. The level of the house. So I'm going to read just verse 2. 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves. That's another reason why you didn't hear all these pastors teaching and preaching it. Because they didn't want you to see that they too, this is speaking of. Okay? Covenants, boasters, proud, blasphemy. And this is where you know he's coming from the household. Disobedient to their parents. Unthankful. That's coming from the household. They're not grateful. They're not thankful for what their parents and what whoever have raised them and have done for them. Unholy. That's that household, y'all, that he said he come to bring the division. But we want to stand here today in the year 2025 and act like it ain't nothing going on today. I'm so grateful that y'all allowed me to even share my situation, and in hope that anyone else that's walking in the spirit might say, okay, I'm experiencing that too. I feel you. I know that's true. That's true. But you ain't going to get that because people are hiding under the lie. The lie has gripped people so hard to where they want to, they hold firm to the lie because the truth is too heavy to bear. And them people need to go back and find out if there's an altar that they can kneel down to in the presence of Yah. You better hope you can today and repent, because that's the mindset of people. That's the mindset. So, because here in 2 Timothy, that's coming still from the household. That's coming to the household. And then it branches out who they are on the outside. But it tells you disobedient to parents, unthankful. That's disobedient to parents. That's group that. They unthankful for all that the parents have done, have said, have invested in their lives. They unthankful and they unholy. Oh, you see? You know who that is. That's the seed that was divided on one side in the family. Okay? Then I get up to Matthew chapter 10 and verse 34, and it reads, I don't want to go past an hour. Matthew chapter 10, verse 34, it says, think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Verse 35, I am come to set a man in variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, because he set. Now notice it says set. That means you can't change it no matter how you try to make it lovey-dovey. Oh, so peaceful and so sweet. So peaceful and so sweet. We try to cover it up with a smile, with hugs. We try to cover it up with everything. Even though in us, at least me, in people already know that it's been divided and the division has been set, just as he said. He said in verse 35, we're in Matthew chapter 10 and verse 35, it says, for I am come to set a man in variance against his father, and his daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against the mother-in-law. That's set, baby. But what we would do, we would teach that thing, we would preach that thing, we would minister that thing with a lie and not the truth. That's why I said I wanted to write a book on this. And I'm going to add this in. And then the Spirit was telling me it's not going to change anything. They didn't even uphold the truth. This should have been preached a long time ago, y'all. And I'm not talking about since we in captivity. This should have been on the mountaintop with a lot of other things, like the ball being dropped in Genesis. But it's so much that has, and I understand. You might not understand, but I understand how they got like that, where they at today. It's because they made the lie the truth. Woman's supposed to work side by side with men. That was the truth. They made it out of a lie by destroying her identity as a female, being disobedient or being the one that sinned. and brought sin into the world. You see how wicked and evil that is? But then you hear him talking so to men about the evil and wicked that they are, even to the point where he's coming into their seed in their household. And the key to the man, the key to what he's saying, that he's coming and he's bringing division and he's coming to set this in your household, men. He's letting you know it's your seeds that I'm dividing along with you. See, he ain't setting the seeds and dividing. He's dividing the seeds and the man. He's bringing that division and he's setting it there. He set it up from the floor up. And never, ever, 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 ever what I'm teaching ever been preached. And it's called truth. Truth has been spoken as lies, even to this very day. That's the part that used to bother me all the time. Why is we not telling the truth about us coming over here as in captivity and what we did before we came over here? Why don't we tell the truth? See, Sister Deborah been saying that 7 years and people still don't get it. That's why I say it's meant for them not to get it. So when Paul is over here talking about a unity in the spirit, meaning those who's supposed to walk in the spirit, we supposed to be in a unity. Now it makes sense. It ain't going to happen. That's the way it was supposed to be. But they took on the lie. They rather walk in unity again with those that's in the world, that's walking after the flesh, than the unity of those that are all the same, walking with Yah. That's why we can't come into a oneness. And that's why Paul is calling it all a oneness. He's a one spirit, a one baptism, a one Yah, a one Father. He just telling you a oneness. And we all just supposed to fall under that. But we're not. Because we think the oneness is where he did the destruction for the division. We think it's what in the household. It's in the family. Okay. So then I go to Luke chapter 21 and verse 16 and 17. In Luke chapter 21, verse 16 and 17, it says, and ye shall be betrayed. And ye shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren and kinfolks and friends. And some of you shall they cause to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. Who is he talking to? Those that are born to walk after the spirit of Yah. He's not talking to a Hebrew Israelite. See, they think he's talking about the true Jews, the Hebrew Israelite. He's actually telling you where he come to bring the division, and he has the ones that's walking in the spirit, born of the spirit. This is who he's talking about. But you can actually swing that to, he's talking to the Jews, to the Hebrew Israelites. He's talking to Israel, the whole house of Israel. You can swing it any way you want. But the reality is, when I remember, I don't know if it's been 3 or 4 months, I was teaching y'all about turning right into wrong, wrong into right. I was teaching, it ain't even been that long, and I was showing you the heaviness of how it has been flipped. And guess what? It's like that today, y'all. It's hardcore. It stands today. See? And he keeps all this. And look, let's go to Mark. And in Mark chapter 13, in verse 12, it says, now brethren shall betray brother to death, and father, son, meaning to death. And children shall rise up against their parents and shall cause them to be put to death. That is exactly what they are doing. That's what's going on today. And I cannot understand why isn't everybody acting like it ain't nothing. I had to at least got more than 20 videos on my phone, because every time I run up on one, I lock it in my phone. Because there's so many of that, so much as that is going on. And what do that have to do with? The division, y'all. The mothers don't understand that these are not your seeds. These are the seeds of the Father. And the iniquity and the sin of the Father is going to reign in them for 3 to 4 generations. The mothers has no idea. that these are your children you birthed. But these children you birthed had a seal on them before you birthed them. They came down here to either walk one way or the other. And if they walking one way or the other, it also depends where you at in it. Mothers, if you are walking in the flesh and they are walking in the flesh, you're gonna get along with them a little bit. But if you are walking in the spirit and they are walking in the flesh, you're gonna have trouble. The division was already divided before you even had that child. And because you never knew that the iniquity of the father, Yah sealed it, that it's going to reign in the children 3 to 4 generation. And even if it rain in the children 3 or 4 generation, and it ain't going to come up on the spiritual seeds as far as spirit, but it's going to come up on their ways and the things they're going to do. But the spirit that's going to be that they're going to be walking in, it's going to lead them out of them ways. Oh yes. Oh yes. So you see how so much has never been, all these mega churches, all these churches on every corner, on every block, and all these Catholic church, all these things are just wicked and evil. And they did a successful job deceiving the whole world with Satan. And they still today booming like never. All on this platform. These people ain't giving you no light. They ain't giving you no spirit and truth. Okay. So then I found myself back into, what was that? Back into, let me get that right. Matthew's chapter 10, verse 21. In Matthew's chapter 10 and verse 21, brothers and the brother shall deliver the brother, to death, and the father, the children to death. And the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. This is what you're hearing today. And when I come on here and I tell y'all it's going on and it's great, and you can't even get the reaction from nobody. That's why I know people ain't who they think they are or where they think they at. You can't get a reaction. You can't get nothing. Because the reason why there's needed a reaction is because this is stuff that was prophesied. That's now in this end days making sense. Light coming out of it. And if you can't own the light that's revealing the darkness, then something is missing in you. That's what I be looking for. People who know how to see the light and call it light versus darkness. But you can't get that response. Okay. And it says, it's telling you that this is happening. And I'm telling you that it's a pandemic. I'm wondering, is it a plague? It has to be. I'm wondering, it has to be a plague. To be. To be. To the point where it has always said that this is what it is. And right now it's an epidemic. This whole world needs to be looking into it. Nobody's looking into it because the world loves its own. And those that are walking, that's called to walk after the spirit of Yah, I say unto you, get where you need to be, need to be, y'all. Because I now understand you can get blotted out. Oh, yes, you can. And I am not don't have a hell to put nobody in, but I sure can talk about it from what the spirit say to me from the inside. Okay, so when you hear in Proverbs chapter 31, in Proverbs chapter 31 and verse 2 and 3, what my son of my womb, and what the son of my vows. Okay, give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that destroy kings. Men are destroyed because they give their strength to the weaker link. They are destroyed, like Samson, like Solomon, and many others. because they give their strength to a female. Just put it all out into her lap, as if y'all didn't give them their own strength to be who they are. Genesis chapter 3 and 15, it tells you that he said he's going to put intimacy between the two. So we can walk around here all we want and pretend we in Dumb City. My greatest part that I am enduring is the fact that I have to own not just own it, but live by the fact that he has truly divided my households as well. And I have to now live by it, not trying to fix it. I know I spilled myself, but no one ever caught it to the fullness. Because you can't fix it. It can't be fixed. The division was set. So stop trying to put spiritual things among fleshly walkers, because it won't work. And only one get hurt is you. Only one need to go to the altar for it is you. Because you the one need the healing. That's why it is required repentance. It is required turning. See, people don't understand that when that repent is set, it's for a full turn and never go back. So now you have to learn to turn from the family that you continue to heal and be there for. You got to turn. It's that time to go in the way. And that is identical to Ephesians chapter 4, what Paul has said, keeping the unity of the Spirit. He's speaking of those who are called to walk in the Spirit. They are born of the Spirit. Keep the unity of the Spirit, that oneness. Walk with those who are of the Spirit. Stop trying to befriend, be the best that you can be amongst those who are walking of the flesh. There's no healing for them, even in your own household. But you have to let your light shine so your household can see your light and who you stand for and who you walk in. But don't think the two division is not going to have intimacy be in the midst. And there's going to be where the battle truly is. So I, Sister Deborah, hope you got something out of it. Even if you didn't, I hope that you did. And I will be back at 7 p.m. Central Time. Someone send me if at the sound of this video you hear it to the very end, please send me a topic we can talk about and that you think that would be a great topic to talk about this evening at 7 p.m. Central Time. If you can, I appreciate it. Send me a topic that you think that would be very important that we talk about in this day and time. Sister, and you can send it through the comment, okay? If you like. And Sister Deborah says, shalom and shalom. See you at 7 p.m. Central Time.